Welcome to the first episode of Occasional Randomness, a somewhat new podcast. More on that in a second. I am one of your hosts, Eric Scott, and joining me on this brand new adventure is my co-host, Jason Johnson.
Insert random reference here. Hi, guys.
We'll workshop that later.
Yeah, this is usually the part where I try to find something, referential to say on what we're talking about. But since this is an intro, it's kind of difficult.
Yeah, you can't reference things that haven't happened yet, so.
If I could do that, I'd have a new marketable skill that would probably make me more money than I make now.
Yeah, if you can first person to crack time travel, you've got it made. All right, so quick background. This podcast is a continuation of what Jason and I started almost 2 years ago at this point on the Incomparable podcasting network, if you're familiar with that. You can go to theincomparable.com if you want to learn more. Back then, they would occasionally let some listeners and members do listener-only hosted podcasts. So we were lucky enough to be able to do Farscape seasons 1 and 2 over there. And then at the end of 2022, they discontinued the feed for TeeVee podcasts. But because we were halfway done reviewing Farscape's 4 seasons, and since we love the show so much, we decided to do the rest of it here on Podbean.
Yeah, we were homeless for a bit, but I think we'll figure it out.
Yep, it took us a bit to get set up on here, but here we are. So our old Farscape episodes are still on the Incomparable, so you can go there anytime and listen to any of them that you want. We'll try to drop some links to them in our show notes, as well as there's links on our Podbean website, occasionalrandomness.podbean.com. And for those of you who want to follow along with us on our continuing Farscape voyage here, you can catch Farscape on Shout Factory TV at the aptly named shoutfactorytv.com, or they have a Roku app or an Amazon Prime channel, among other ways to find it.
Yeah, I'm sure if you search hard enough, there's probably some places that it fell off the truck that you can pick it up if those don't work for you.
So you might be wondering why we did Farscape. Well, first, it's an amazing science fiction show. It had great characters and plot lines. And plus, they made Muppets serious characters as integral to the show as the human actors. And second, it ran for 88 episodes plus their 2-part series finale, so it gave us a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we definitely evaluated the how long can we milk this, and that seemed like a good entertaining fit.
Pick something more than today's 8-episode seasons and not marathon Law and Order that lasted for 800 seasons. So
or risk something that would get canceled out from underneath us. There's always that.
Yeah, that's the drawback with sci-fi and fantasy shows is will it last the season or not? But Farscape did. It ran for 4 seasons. And our final reason was that Jason had never seen the show before, but I did. So it gave us some different perspectives to do the podcast on.
Yeah, as I mentioned as we watch it, it's one of those shows that I was really interested in at the time, but didn't have the means to watch. So it's really been an interesting journey.
Yeah, when I came in like season 2, and I eventually saw all the other stuff, and it's been like 24 years since Farscape originally aired in 1999, so I don't remember everything. So it's been a fun rewatch, remembering things I loved before, and then picking up on the nuances and stuff that I can't remember for being 20 years later. So gave us something to talk about for 2 years. So there we go.
Yeah, and while we are providing links to the back catalog that we did on the Incomparable, really all you really need to know is that the crackers do matter despite how they were marketed.
Yeah, that's an episode title in one of the seasons we talked about, and we tend to bring that up all the time.
Which is why I couldn't let this intro go without referencing it at least once. So, why is this podcast named Occasional Randomness, you may ask? Well, our subtitle back on the Incomparable for the Farscape rewatch was Muppets in Space, or more specifically, Muppets in Space, which you do that way better than I do, by the way, Eric. So
it's a gift.
We all have our skill sets. But since we rather like our assets unfrozen, and we don't want to get any cease and desist letters from Disney lawyers, you guys know who you are, and we're on your side. The check's in the mail. Not really. So we didn't want to get in trouble over the name, so we came up with a new one, just in case. This does give us new opportunities, though. While we keep discussing Farscape, we can also now review and discuss other things, too. Whether the latest Marvel and DC movies and shows, or other shows that we may be watching. So we may occasionally talk about something else in depth besides Farscape randomly. See, reference title here. Whenever the mood or opportunity presents itself.
as we're recording this now, the latest season of Star Trek Picard's out. There's new movies coming out. Shazam, I forget the name of it. The next Shazam comes out next month. We got the D&D movie coming out. So there's all kinds of stuff out there that Jason and I are into or could be into, or you never know. So,
Yeah, and amazingly, not that we'll focus strictly on Star Trek either. Again, randomness, but there's a lot of it that I haven't seen too. I'm here's a spoiler. I was pretty bad at watching TV in that time frame. So anyway, once we do finish Farscape, we can move into other topics we want to review and discuss. So basically, this occasional randomness doesn't box us into anything, and we'll explore anything out there that we may want to look into.
yeah, we are at what people call peak TV now. There's tons of TV available everywhere. Old TV, new TV, 10,000 streaming channels, this plus, that plus, all the pluses. So it's all out there for us to play with.
Yep, and again, that we have the freedom to pick it up, watch it. If we don't like it, well, we'll let you know, and we'll move on to something else. And there's always Farscape.
Yep, we got 44 plus episodes to go of Farscape, so there's plenty of Farscape to be had for everybody.
So we hope you come along for the ride as we continue our rewatch, or first time watch in my case, and also for any of the other occasional randomness that we will probably get into.
Yep, so after this episode launches on all the podcasting platforms that we can figure out how to get onto, then stay tuned for season 3 of Farscape that'll be coming out. So until then, we'll see you then. Goodbye.
Goodbye.